I know how much you both love Christina, and this isn't easy for you.
Frank, we just want to do what's right.
Yeah, I mean, Neil does deserve the chance that she can give him.
Now that we know Christina won't be in any danger.
Well, yeah, except I have to say I am truthfully still a little bit scared. I mean, she's just a tiny baby, you know. It's a big procedure.
Well, you have every right to be scared. You hate having her out of your sight, let alone in an operation. Both of you are very brave to be doing this, especially when what you want is to protect your baby.
Well, Neil needs our help, so we certainly aren't going to just turn our backs.
And the sooner the better, so that Christina's bone marrow is ready when Neil needs it.
Has anyone said when Neil will be strong enough?
We're waiting for Joe and Karen to tell us.
Okay, thanks, Maggie. Post it as soon as you can, okay?
I can't believe you're trying to cut me out of the loop on Neil's case.
All I said was it wasn't up to us to decide his treatment, not anymore.
So what, all of a sudden I'm not supposed to care because I'm not his real father?
Joe, I don't want to make you feel worse, but yeah, it's not your job anymore. You have to find a way to accept it.
Listen to me, I'm a doctor. What I think has nothing to do with whether or not I'm his father, okay? My gut says that taking him off the xylostine and doing the transplant is his best shot.
And my medical opinion is the xylostine's working, not as fast as we want, but in time.
There isn't time, Karen.
The stronger he gets, the better his chance at having a successful bone marrow transplant.
Okay, listen to me. You want to sell Frank and Courtney on waiting, you go ahead. I can't stop you, but I'm going to fight you every step of the way. You hear me?
You like the B, huh? This is A and F. And B, does it taste better than the A? I guess so.
I have been arguing back and forth with Frank and Courtney, trying to get through their heads that Neil has to have this transplant, and he needs it right now.
Oh, well, they're afraid.
Well, then we have to reassure them, Karen, and that would be a lot easier if you would back me up.
Joe, you need to look at the latest test results. Neil's white cell count is up, and there's a reduction in the number of blasts.
So what, you think the xylostine's starting to work?
I'm hoping.
Karen, these numbers are really, really small.
Well, so far.
Yeah, but I need better numbers than this.
Well, maybe we'll get them if we wait.
You want to hold off on the transplant?
Until Neil's in remission.
No chance. We cannot afford to do that. I say we move on this right now.
Joe, it's not your decision. Or mine. Hey, you guys are. I was wondering when you'd get here.
Well, Aunt Charlene just, dropped her off.
All systems go?
Yes. I know you feel a little rushed, but Dr. Perez said he could do the extraction tomorrow morning.
Wow, tomorrow.
Yes, so we need to admit her and have her stay overnight, and that way we could run some tests and prep her for the procedure first thing.
Okay, well, we have a few questions. We just want to know.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, well, like the anesthesia, how do you know how much to give her?
Well, we get a rough idea by her weight and her age.
Wait a minute, a rough idea?
Okay, it's a little more scientific than it sounds.
Well, I hope so, Karen.
Okay, we give her the drug intravenously, and then an anesthesiologist comes in and he adjusts it incrementally. Hey, I know you guys are worried, but Christina isn't the first or the youngest baby to go under anesthesia.
I know. I realize that, and it's really not that we don't trust you.
I understand. Any more questions?
Will there be much pain afterwards? You know, will it really hurt?
She'll have a little discomfort, but we'll give her ibuprofen for that. Listen, as we go along, feel free to ask any questions, okay? Okay.
Let's get on with it.
Okay. I've also arranged for a cot to be in her room so you guys could be with her. So why don't you wait here while I cut through some red tape and admitting, and also tell Dr. Perez we're all set for tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, thanks,
All right,
Karen.
Christina!
Hey, Frank.
Hey. Hi, honey.
Frank.
Oh, look at that face. Oh, you really are a little angel, aren't you?
Well, I don't know. I think she kind of likes you.
Yum.
Yep, see, she
Yeah.
said yum, so that means she does like you. You probably promised her some leopard print outfit or something.
Come on, don't you think she knows a good-looking guy when she sees one?
Hey, come on. It's my daughter you're talking about there, Frank.
And she's definitely daddy's.
Don't worry, I'm not going to steal her away.
Hey, Joe. I heard the news. Christina Baldwin's a match for Neil, huh? That's a lucky break.
Yeah, we were all due for one.
Have you scheduled the extraction?
Yeah, Karen's setting it up with Perez.
Perez in hematology.
Yeah, we think he's the best man for the job.
Yeah, it's a good choice. I did a rotation with him. Maybe he'll let me assist.
Well, that's his call.
What are you doing?
What do you mean? I'm working.
Yeah, you're working. You're working incredibly hard to make sure that Christina goes through with this.
Dr. Pangra, 5542. Dr. Penny Pangra, 5542.
If you saw Neil right now, sleeping so peacefully, you would never know he was sick.
Hey, I'm glad you're both here. I have the latest test results.
And?
There's been a slight improvement in his mature white blood cell count.
Finally, some good news.
Yeah, it looks like the xylostine's starting to work.
Oh, thank God. I was afraid Joe was right about taking him off the drug and going ahead with the transplant.
Looks like our gamble's starting to pay off.
Yeah, the results are encouraging. But both Nick and I agree he should stay on the drug for a little while.
For how long?
Well, I'd like him as strong as possible before we go ahead.
So you still think keeping him on the drug will give him a better chance later on of surviving a transplant?
Yeah, I do.
Then let's stick with the program.
Yeah, stay with what's working.
Don't make a decision yet, guys, not till you hear what I have to say.
Look, Joe, I know you think we should go ahead with the transplant, but the new drug, it's working.
Not fast enough, Courtney.
Maybe not for you, but this is our decision.
Look, I was on board when we started with the xylostine because we didn't have a donor. But now we do, and we should act on it.
But why not give the drug some time to work
Because this may be as strong as he gets. If we don't do this transplant, we may lose this kid.
Nick and I think doing it now when Neil is so sick, it's too risky.
You're worried about infection, Karen. I am too. But we can protect him.
That's not always possible.
I'll make sure of it.
You're a doctor, Joe. You're not Superman.
Neil thinks I am. He's counting on me, and I will not let him down.
Well, neither will I, but he needs someone to make good decisions.
Frank, you're not a doctor, Frank.
No, I am not, but I am Neil's dad, and Courtney and I will decide what's best for him.
So you'll just go against me to prove a point?
No, to save his life.
Joe, that is all we're trying to do here.
So am I.
Look, we all want what's best for Neil. But it's up to you guys to decide.
All right, look, we need a little time to think about this.
Well, we're not taking Christina's bone marrow till tomorrow. You have till then to decide.
You all trusted me when I made decisions for Neil before, didn't you? Why can't you now?
And when we heard Christina was a match, I thought our prayers were answered, that everything would be simple. They'd give Neil the bone marrow, and that would be it.
That's what Joe wants to do.
Yeah, but I know Joe. He digs his heels in, and he won't change his mind, even if he's wrong.
And you think he is?
Karen and that oncologist,
Nick,
they say hold off to keep him on the new drugs.
you would think that they'd all be able to come to the same conclusion.
And Karen and Joe can't even agree.
And they'd always been on the same page when it came to Neil. Frank, what do we do?
I don't know if there is any way to know what the right answer is.
You know what I keep thinking about? I keep thinking about when Neil would come up to the plate in Little League He told me that he never knew what to do because there were so many choices. Do I bunt or do I swing away? Do I take the pitch or just go for it? He couldn't decide. And so he'd always look over at me for the answer. And back then, I always had one for him. Right now, I don't.
I would do anything for Neil. I would take his place in that hospital bed in the second if I could. But right now, I don't know which way to go to try to save him.
And if we go the wrong way, he could die.
Joe, I need to speak to you.
About what?
You were out of line with Frank and Courtney. The decision they have to make is hard enough without you pressuring them.
Karen, I'm not apologizing for taking a stand about Neil's treatment.
As hard as this is for you, as doctors, we have an obligation to state the facts as clearly as possible and then back away. Let the parents make the decisions.
I'm trying to save Neil's life. Don't you get that?
Of course I get it.
Then why are you trying to stop me?
As chief resident, I'll have
don't
certain...
give me that crap. We're talking about Neil.
Hey, Joe, we all know how much you care.
Ellen, I didn't know you were here.
Well, I certainly knew the two of you were here. You could be heard in Philadelphia.
Well, we were having a difference of opinion about Neil's treatment.
So I gathered.
And I'm right.
You seem pretty sure.
I'm closer to this case than anyone, sir. I know it inside and out.
You think possibly you're too close? That you can't be objective anymore?
I never let feelings get in the way of good medicine.
You know, Joe, doctors that have passion are the best doctors, and you have always been at the top of the list.
Thank you, sir.
But I have seen occasions where you have been too passionate about your cases. You think this is one of those instances?
Alan, you know me. I don't like bull. What are you getting at?
I don't like bull either. You think maybe it's time to get somebody who's less personally involved to take over the case?
I'm not walking away from Neil's case.
I'm not trying to make this hard on you. I want what's best for you and for Neil.
Then we want the same thing. We have to do that transplant now.
This is your case, too.
Yes, I have been on it from the beginning.
And you're also the chief resident. I want your opinion. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you think that Joe's maintaining his professional objectivity?
You won't find a doctor more dedicated to Neil than Joe, and I can certainly see his point of view of wanting to go ahead with the transplant.
But it's not the way you and Dr. Pacelli want to proceed.
No, it isn't.
And they're both wrong.
I've heard all I need to hear.
You're both too damn busy playing chief resident and chief of staff to realize that a kid's life is on the line here.
Cool off, Joe. Before you say something you regret.
If it convinces you to see things my way, I don't care.
What I am convinced of is that you are not thinking straight and you are too close to the case.
Would you? I'm not...
I'm taking you off the case,
You
Joe.
cannot do that.
Oh, yes, I can. I just did it. You are no longer one of Neil's doctors.
Joe, I'm sorry.
A lot of good that does Neil, Karen.